I'm Amy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Jen.
We're Evanescence, and you're watching Chaos TV.
Okay, so what's up everybody? Chaos TV is today here at Rockfest Festival in Vantaa, Finland. We have here Amy, Tim and Jen from the band Evanescence as guests. So first off, hello and welcome to Finland after quite many years.
Yeah, I think it's been 10. It's very, very good to be back. We have fond memories of that last tour, but we're very excited to be back here again. Happy to welcome our new guitar player, Jen, for the first time to Finland with us. So yeah, stoked. Good to be here.
So in general, how has the summer been for you guys?
Man,
How has the summer been? It's starting.
it doesn't feel like summer yet because it's so cold everywhere.
Right, it's been summer for like 12 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Neither is anywhere anymore. Yeah, but we're stoked. This is just the second show on our summer tour, so we're just kicking it off with you guys. So we're excited.
So you have been recently in the studio and now you are finally playing shows again. So I guess you must be pretty excited to be back on the road.
Yeah, it's been a lot of back and forth. We've been playing shows, going to the studio, playing shows, going to the studio. So right after this tour, we'll be back in the studio. This couch keeps all together. This is inflatable, in case you're wondering.
So you have an album in the works entitled Synthesis. So and it has a pretty interesting team around it. So could you tell us a bit about that?
About the team around it?
In general, what is the idea about the album?
Interesting, both. Yeah, well, okay. It's mostly music from our catalog, all 3 albums, different songs from our history of doing stuff, plus 2 totally new ones. Recorded completely anew, in a new way that is very much about symphony orchestra. We just recorded the orchestra and it sounds so beautiful. It's very much taking it to the next level musically. But it's that and all programming. So they're both big elements that have always been a part of our sound, and actually a lot of the origins of Evanescence in many ways. When we were first making music, it was we were more of a studio band than a live playing rock shows band. It was just me and a guy making music in our parents' houses and making drum beats and had this idea of this beautiful orchestra, but obviously couldn't afford it at the time. So just writing music, but we wouldn't have had the ability to do what we're doing now as kids. Yeah. So it's really fulfilling a big dream that is very much from the core of the idea of this band. So we'll be in the studio recording some cool, very interesting, different guitar, synthesizer, and different instruments and vocals after we get off this tour. I'm very excited about it. Excited for what Jen's gonna bring.
Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to this because I'm going to do something so rad. I'm still learning it, but it's going to be fabulous, and I can't wait.
Really cool.
So where did actually this idea originally come from that you wanna basically rearrange some of the songs?
I have always really enjoyed during the recording process. Our sound has a lot of layers. It's got the programming, it's got the big distorted guitars, it's got the big rock drums, it's got the strings, it's got lots of background vocals. There's just a whole lot of layers. And as we record, there's always a point where there's so much stuff that you can't quite hear all the nuances of what's going on. And I always wish that I had different versions. I remember saying when we did the last album, I wish I had a version for myself that was just programming, vocals, and the strings, because it sounds so amazing like that, and you actually can't hear all the cool, crazy David Campbell string arrangements and stuff once we put everything else on it. But then, of course, you love the other stuff too, so I actually had an idea before. I've had several ideas about it, whoa, what if we put everything out next time in pieces, so you can create your own style, if you want to just have the different stems or whatever. That's too complicated. Nobody's going to spend that kind of time. Not everybody is like me. But anyway, that idea turned into, well, why don't we take the opportunity to go back and not only revisit but upgrade a lot of these things and just have fun with it. Not every song works that way, and we're not just picking out the singles or the hits. They're different songs that we have that really lend themselves toward that epicness and that vibe. So
okay, so you prefer doing those songs that fit more into that
totally
area, basically.
Correct.
Okay. You also have a female backing vocalist doing some vocals. So do you actually plan on this album to have her singing as well?
Ooh, interesting. We hadn't talked about it yet. We'll have to think about that. I think that's a good idea. I think that might be good.
Might be good.
Let's play with it. She sings with us live now, and that's been such a cool bonus. It adds some depth, like when you have different voices singing together rather than just one stacked. It's a different thing though. Like having a whole bunch of one, it can be extremely smooth. You can like make it perfect, like it's all one thing. But when you have different ones, it actually makes it wider and fuller. So I think that might be fun to play with. I really love it on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of doing this album, do you also write like new music for the next completely new Evanescence album?
Yeah, we have a couple of ideas already started that I think will go towards that, yes. We've had a couple of songs sort of in the bank since, I don't know, the last go around. We had a lot of songs that didn't make it on the last album. So there's a couple there to kind of draw from. And in addition to that, while writing for this album, because there is some new music on it, some of them weren't the right fit stylistically, but I think they're really good, so I think that might be the next thing.
We're also always musically, we're making things individually all the time.
Yes, that's right.
So by the time we get together to do the next one, we're going to have a big head
pile.
start with just a pile of stuff to go through and work out.
Yeah, you're working on something right now, right? In the hotel.
I've got like 10 things going on right now.
It's fun to do that. I actually really like working that way, where everybody writes separately and works separately, and then we just pool our ideas. And sometimes you find a song that gets created like a Frankenstein, out of little pieces of everybody's ideas that you never thought would go together. It's really fun to do that. It just gives you like fuel for the creativity.
So have you always been like that as a band, that everybody's contributing stuff, or has it now became like that?
Yeah, it's gotten to be like that more and more, which is really nice. In the beginning, it was just two people, like I said. That was such a long time ago. I was a kid, still learning how to write, actually. We're at a point now, I'm working with a group of musicians who everybody is very creative and skilled and versatile and has the ability to sort of like, we enjoy thinking outside the box and trying different things. Gets boring just doing the same thing all the time. And I like collaborating a lot with good musicians, because it makes you try things you wouldn't have tried before, and sometimes realize that you can do something that you didn't know that you could do just by like having a different voice in the room. So I like that a lot. I love writing by myself. It's good for me to like kind of get a start like that, because I can get into like an intimate place by myself. But the last record that we made, we really did spend time just like rocking out with Will on the drums and Tim on the bass, and just doing that thing, and that was really good for us. That's why the third record rocks so hard. It's definitely more of like a rock record than the other ones, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So do you actually like plan on being like more of a touring band after releasing the Synthetis album, or
More?
Yeah, like being more active and staying on the road all the time, or how do you actually plan on doing, because you also have a solo career as well?
Well, I also have a 2-year-old, so I mean, he's wonderful and he's loving it. Living on the road isn't exactly what I want for my life anymore, but I don't think we have to be in order to be totally active. This has been a very busy year already. It was a pretty busy year last year, but this year especially is just all locked in. And we're just enjoying it. We're enjoying playing together and working together and writing together and creating better. I think you spend too much time on the road just playing the songs over and over and again. My head gets numb and I don't feel anymore. I don't like that. I'd rather do some shows, have a great time, go back to creative mode, write stuff, have a chance to live life a little bit, have something to write about, and then go back out on tour.
Okay, so you prefer having that also that own time, and not just tour.
To. So much of the best work happens when you're in create mode,
Okay. So in the end, a bit about like your future plans in general. So what's in the scope after this European run? Are you gonna finish the album, and do you already have some kind of tentative plan when is it going to be released?
Our whole year is booked.
Yep.
Right after this, we go back into the studio to finish Synthesis. Then we'll be mixing Synthesis, and then we'll be touring Synthesis in the fall.
Okay, so the album is going to be released sometime in the
this fall. Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay. So thank you a lot.
Thank you.
For everybody.
Thank you so much.
Everybody for doing this interview with us, and best of luck for tonight's show. Anything you want to say as last word to the Finnish fans who will be watching this afterwards?
Kiitos.
Yeah. Yeah, we learned a word. Is that how you say it?
Thank you.
I didn't learn that.
Woo! You were there.
I learned whoop ass, woohoo, yeah! That's what I learned.
It's good to be back. Thank you for sticking around and wanting to see us again. We're very, very honored to be able to come back so far away.
Thank you.
All right.
Kiitos.
That means thank you, huh?
Yep.
Nobody told me.